Jo Riley is the founding director of CancerPal, which was founded in 2019. It's an online hub to support the family and friends of those diagnosed with cancer. CancerPal also sells cancer care products to help ease some of the side effects of cancer treatments. Hi Jo, welcome to the podcast.
Hi Sarah, thank you so much for having me on. Really excited to be here.
Good, it's a pleasure to have you here. Would you like to start by just giving us a little bit more background as to how you got into starting CancerPal?
Yes, thank you. So as you said, CancerPal is an online platform aimed at supporting the family and friends of those going through cancer, and the idea being that hopefully they then can provide the best possible support to their loved one going through cancer. And the idea for it came when my mum was given a terminal cancer diagnosis, and I just felt so helpless. I felt really isolated because no one around me had, been in that position. But yeah, I also just felt really helpless. Mum was getting great medical care from the doctors and nurses, but it was the emotional and the practical and yeah, those terrible side effects of cancer treatment. I just stood there. It was awful. So I turned to Dr. Google, the thing they tell you not to do. many hours late night Googling. And what I realised was that, of course, Mum wasn't the first person and won't be the last person to go through cancer. And that actually there is this wealth of knowledge and experience and tips and products to help ease the side effects out there. But it's quite difficult for friends and family to access that information. They're kind of buried quite deep in forums. So I set up CancerPal really to try and pull all of that information together in one easily accessible online location, and then also to kind of link those product recommendations. What I found was that people would recommend products, and often unbeknownst to me, I was maybe in an American forum, so then it was really difficult to actually find and source and ship that product. So yeah, to kind of bring it all together, the information and the advice and access to those products.
So how did it, it presumably started off as an information hub then. So how did it progress to becoming more of an e-commerce sort of business? And do you sell the products, or do you sell products on behalf of other people? How does that sound?
Yeah, well, that's a great question. So so the idea was I always wanted CancerPal to be sustainable. To be able to wash its own face. So I didn't want to set it up as a charity and rely on grants. So I always say that we have kind of a charitable mission but a for-profits business model. And then well, actually, how can I make it for profits? How can I sustain? How can I bring in revenue? And yeah, the obvious idea was to sell the products that people were recommending, because always remember I purchased some some hats for my mum to cover her head when she was going through treatment, and we couldn't find any in the UK. They were over in America, so it's no problem, is it? I just clicked on PayPal and bought them. But when they arrived, I had to pay customs duty on them. And so they got sent to the local post office depot, not directly to Mum. Now, it's absolutely no problem for me to go and pick them up from the depot, but at the time Mum was so poorly, she wouldn't have been able to go. And it just made me think, yeah, there's something in there, isn't it, about accessing those products and that being kind of the business model to sustain the sort of the free help and advice, if you like.
Yeah. So do you source the products and you sell them, or are you selling on behalf of other retailers? How is it?
Sorry, I didn't answer that bit of the question. So in my mind, I always wanted to set up, and this is why we call it the marketplace. I always wanted to set up almost an Etsy of cancer products. So absolutely, it was just pulling them all together, and I didn't hold any stock or anything. So absolutely, people were just ordering them directly from the retailer. But what happened, the reality was that an awful lot of the products, specifically the sort of the niche products that I really want to stock, if I'm going to do this properly, I have to stock all of the products that are recommended, and they wouldn't sell like that. They just weren't set up to do sort of e-commerce. They would only sell wholesale. So I'm currently operating a hybrid model where I purchase them and hold stock for some of the products and send those out directly from CancerPal, and then other products absolutely I drop ship in, essentially.
Yeah. And how hard has it been to actually source the products and find the right suppliers? Because as you say, a lot of them presumably are American suppliers. Are you having to import stuff as well, or are you able to find the suppliers in the UK?
No. And that's the thing, you know, I wanted to be able to, yeah, I'm providing a service. You know, obviously I need to make a profit so that the service is sustainable, but absolutely I'm providing a service. So yeah, some of the products you can't get in the UK. Yeah, it's been a steep learning curve, yeah, importing from America, Italy, France, Brexit. I mean, you know, I'm a tiny little sort of startup business, and yeah, got caught up in all the Brexit rules. Yeah, it's interesting, you know, it keeps me busy, never a dull day, but yeah, absolutely. And what I would say to answer your question is the sourcing of the products is probably my biggest time suck, because we won't list any products on the marketplace that haven't been recommended by other people that have been through cancer, and that haven't been sort of tried and tested. You know, we're not about making a quick buck. The products that are on our site, you know, have been proven to help ease the side effects, and yeah, it takes forever.
That does lead me on to the question, which I suspect this is the answer, but what is the most challenging part you're finding of running? Well, we'll focus on the e-commerce side of it, because obviously that's what the podcast is about, rather than the informational hub side of things. What are you finding is the biggest challenge of suddenly finding yourself running an e-commerce business, which maybe wasn't what you intended when you first had the idea? That wasn't like, I'm going to open up an online store, and suddenly you find yourself running an online store. What are you finding is the biggest challenge with that?
Yeah, absolutely. And my background is sales, but my background is business to business sales. And so, yeah, when I first decided to open up the online store, I thought, wow, you know, it's not a million, it is different, but it's not a million miles away. I thought that my skill set would be transferable. And when we talk about sourcing suppliers, you know, from an account management and a relationship building point of view, I honestly thought I'd be able to transfer those skills across to supplier management. And it's a totally different kettle of fish. That's my biggest drain. So we mentioned that I stock some of the products and I drop ship other products. So suppliers change their product portfolio and don't tell me. So I receive an order, for a product, and then, you know, it's not in stock. Also, because I've never run an online platform or an e-commerce store before, I run out of product all the time. My what's it called? My stock management is atrocious. And most recently we talked about importing from America. Most recently, I stock it's Utterly Smooth, you might have heard of it, and it comes from America. And at one point there was not a tub of this Utterly Smooth in the whole of the UK. You know, the likes of Boots had run out of it, let alone sort of little old CancerPal, because it had come in and it had got quarantined by trading standards. You know, it just got stuck in that whole Brexit sort of, you know, log jam.
That's not what you need when you're trying to kind of set yourself up and get going. And I think I'm okay to say this, learning as you go along, and then to have all this thrown at you must be, not
it was just another plate to juggle, wasn't it?
Yes. So when it comes to the website, have you built your own website? Have you had other people helping you with that? How's all that side of things worked?
So my platform is built on Wix. So if anyone's listening, it's a kind of a click and drop website builder. So it enabled me to pretty much build my own website. And I know that this will be people's biggest concern if they're looking to start up an e-commerce business, whether to, as you say, pay to get it done professionally or build it yourself. And I know a lot of people will advise you to pay to have it done professionally, and I understand that. But I chose to build it myself because for me, the platform was part of my product. You know, it's part of me proving whether the concept worked or not. It wasn't a case of, you know, I've got these products that I've been selling at local markets and now I want to add e-commerce, you know, as another kind of distribution channel. So for me to sort of write a brief to get someone to professionally develop the website, you know, as soon as I'd written the brief, the kind of the brief had changed. You know, it was a really evolving piece of work. So yeah, for right or for wrong, because it was challenging. I'm no website expert, and it took a lot of late nights, and I know that if I'd paid someone to do it professionally, it would have happened a lot quicker. But for me, it was part of the organic growth of the product. So yeah, built it myself through Wix.
Well, I think that's, I'm never one that says, oh, you should go out and get a web developer to do it. I must admit, I think it's horses for courses. You know, some people don't have the time, they don't have the inclination to do it themselves, and they have the budget, and they'll go and go to a Shopify developer or whatever WordPress developer and have it built. And then others, it is it is a lot easier now with platforms like Wix and Shopify and BigCommerce and places like that. That yes, you can build your online store, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. If it does what you need it to do at the end of the day, that's the main thing. And you know, most of them, they look good, and so that's the main thing. As far as technology in the background, do you have any kind of tools and things that you use in the website that help you to keep on top of things?
Well, no. and that's probably where I'm falling down. So what I would say, as good as Wix was and enabled somebody with, you know, no web development experience to, you know, knock up a relatively professional looking website, Wix has its limitations. So for example, it doesn't link through to Royal Mail.
Right.
So yeah, so you know, I literally have to transfer all of the addresses manually into Royal Mail. So yeah, there's a lot of kind of, I would say, a lot of sticky plasters in the background that I'm currently, you know, it's me sort of filling in the gaps that I probably need to look at and.
But I guess that's a process that the whole, any business is always an evolving sort of an evolving beast. I don't know why the word beast came into my head then, but it is. I mean, sometimes that you feel like you're trying to handle this thing that is just has a life of its own, and you've got to try and stay in control. And yes, that's something, I guess, maybe down the line you might think, oh, well, I need to change to a different platform that has all that technology and all that background. But until you know you need it, it's very hard to know what you need, isn't it? Now you're starting to understand that, oh yes, this functionality would be really useful. How can I do that? And then that makes it easier to find a solution, doesn't it? So
yeah, I would agree with that 100%. I went with Wix because it was recommended to me and I knew no better. And you know, it's absolutely done the job that it was recommended for. But now absolutely I'm starting to see the shortcomings of Wix. And my view has always been that I'm very much, I'm not great for plans. Everyone keeps asking for business plans. I'm like, oh, it's all up here. And that's not necessarily the best way. But yeah, so I'm very much kind of like, do it, try it, and, you know, learn and fix it. So yeah, when we get to the stage where we're sort of falling over, which isn't a million miles away, I can see that now, then yeah, we will absolutely have to move platform.
Yeah.
But you know.
And so obviously you're growing and your people know about you. How was that? How did you do that when you first launched? Did you have a sort of a marketing strategy, or, you know, how did people find out about you? How did you put yourself out there?
So our marketing strategy was always to go directly to hospitals, treatment centres and support groups. Mm-hmm. So we launched in November 2019. So we just started that process when hospitals, treatment centres and support groups locked down. Well, we all locked down, but, you know, in particular, and we aim at the friends and family of those going through treatment. So, you know, they're just not allowed into hospitals at the moment. So yeah, we had to rethink our entire marketing strategy and take it online. And you know, I'm no expert at that. I'm not saying that we've done it particularly well. What I would say is, when I was building the website, I'm not technical in the slightest. I've watched so many YouTube videos and attended, so you know, there is a lot of help out there. That's what I would say.
Yeah.
I've attended so many online seminars on digital marketing, and got a basic understanding of search engine optimization. So when I'm building my web pages, I am very, very aware of those keywords and putting those in place, and that has stood me in really good stead. And yeah, you know, I've just got to the point now where I'm able to recruit my first employee, and of course that's help and support with digital marketing. So yeah, now Claire's come on board and we have a proper, you know, digital marketing strategy and campaign. So I'm really excited to, yeah, that's kind of launching this week actually.
Oh, brilliant! That's amazing. Exciting to see what happens with that. So do you find that people find your shop and then discover that you have all the support and the content, or do people find the content first and then go, oh, and you also have the products? Do you have any kind of idea of how that works or not?
Yeah, and it's amazing, isn't it? Because when you set up your business, you have, you know, I set it up through personal experience. I knew exactly what I would have liked to have had when I was in that position, and so you imagine people doing a similar thing, but no, lots of people, and you know, understandably, lots of people. So we do a lot of content, as I say, we share a lot of information and ideas and you know, advice. So a lot of people come and just take the advice and leave, and you know, and that's fine, because I can tell from the time that they're staying on the site that they're reading the information and the advice, they're not just bouncing off, so that's great. A lot of people just search for the products, so they come straight in, make their purchase and go straight out. And then absolutely, there are those people that I can see, I track their journey, and they do come in, look at the advice and then purchase the product. So a bit of everything really.
Both. So I guess then you're quite into your analytics, and is that, I'm assuming that's something else that you've had to learn as you go along, and it's you're finding that helpful though, I presume.
I find I find it massively helpful, but I'm just no expert. You know, I probably I have been to a lot of online seminars, so I've picked up bits, because for me, how can you improve your website if you don't know what the customers are doing on your website? So I do spend a lot of time analysing that. But I'm no expert.
Well, I think it's important I think the most important thing is that you don't have to be an expert, a true expert at everything, as long as you understand the importance of, as you say, understanding how people behave on your website. And if you can just understand that and at least read the numbers to give you the information, then that gives you a sort of a head start, and you're able to then make decisions based on that, aren't you? So, you know, it's, you don't have to be an expert, I don't think, anyway. You know, it doesn't, people, I think, I hate it when air quotes gurus try and make everything sound so complicated and, you know, like rocket science. And it doesn't have to be complicated. You can just look at the basics and understand enough to make the decisions that you need to make for your business. And so that's, I think that's really nice to hear that. So things like, do you have any other marketing pillars? Do you do email marketing or anything? Do you have any way of sort of, you know, grabbing people's details and then sort of being able to send them newsletters and that kind of thing, or not?
So we kind of we know all the theory, and then we're maybe not, you know, the best at putting that into practice. So I do a lot of social media. There is a really active cancer community out there, so that's great. I mentioned about you know, getting product recommendations, information and advice, so that's great for that sort of sucking it in and resharing it out and using CancerPal as the hub. But I'm also very mindful that social media should never be the be all and the end all of a marketing strategy. So I have an email capture on the website, and we do send out monthly e-newsletters, basically we focus on a side effect each month. So again, it's really easy to kind of find the content for that email and send it out, and that is quite popular. But yeah, what I would say is, as I say, I'm no expert. What I've done is I've kind of dabbled in everything. I feel I've got to a stage where, yeah, I've proved concept. I mean, I've proved concept. I don't want to, undermine what CancerPal's doing. We've received over 400 orders from, over 20 different countries. When I did my business plan, it was just around the UK, but actually people from all around the world are visiting the website. But yeah, it's been a little bit, just me kind of trying things in a bit of a, I'm a very shiny new thing in a very unfocused manner. And so what Claire is,
every entrepreneur / business owner has definite case of shiny object syndrome. I think that's why we do what we do, I think.
but what I'm really bad at is shiny new thing that actually works, let's carry on doing that. It's like, oh no, there's a new shiny new thing over there that might be even better. So yeah, I'm just really bad at that. So and again, probably a great piece of advice is, know your weaknesses and surround yourself with people that can help. So yeah, Claire absolutely is helping me focus in general and focus on digital marketing,
on the things that works but just needs to have a little bit more time.
Yeah, that's the thing. I've got all the data to share with her, but I just haven't maybe been doing it as well as I could have.
Well, you do have a lot of other things to do at the same time. It's not just the marketing side. You have to manage everything else, don't you? Which is the challenge of this kind of thing. So with content, do you produce all the content, or do you have other people producing content for you? How does, because there must be a lot of work involved with that side of it as well, when we're trying to find all the information that you want to provide for people to help them.
So I tend to ask other people, to help with content. And more often than not, people are so kind and generous with their time and want to give something back. I think going through cancer, it wasn't me personally, but watching someone you love going through cancer is such a horrendous experience that you almost want to give something back so that other people don't feel as horrendous as you felt. So I ask for guest blogs, and people share their expertise in that way.
And I guess and it's a real, I mean, there is a community, a real community to something like this. It's such a, it's such a an emotive topic, and people have such high passions on it that people would be drawn to that, to have that support and to have that feeling of community, won't they? Do you find, with obviously COVID, you started in November and then we had the whole lockdown in March. It seems like, oh my gosh, I can't believe it's nearly a year. Do you think the direction of your business has changed because of that, or do you just think the way that you have had to run it has changed? Because obviously, like you said, the marketing had to change because you couldn't go into hospitals and clinics and that kind of thing. Do you think no, the answer is that the direction of the business hasn't changed. It was always meant to be an online platform and an e-commerce platform, but yeah, absolutely, the way that we get in touch with people has changed dramatically. So when I was supporting my mum, I spent hours and hours sitting in hospital waiting rooms, waiting for mum's treatment, waiting for mum's appointment, and I sort of devoured all of the information in that waiting room because you've got nothing else to do. So I imagined that would be a relatively easy way to market to people, but no, all disappeared. Well, I take my hat off to you. You did manage to kind of, because it's not an easy task to actually, if you know nothing about digital marketing and online advertising and all that, it's a hard thing to do anyway, and you had to pivot quite quickly, and you've done that quite successfully, haven't you? Talking about online advertising, do you actually do any paid ads at the moment, or are you just totally relying on the organic and the SEO and that kind of thing?
So far, completely, because, and we touched on this with the website, because any budget that I have, I spend on stock. So no, haven't done any paid advertising to date. But some of that is because, you know, I don't know enough about it. I'm scared to do that. I think, yeah, if you don't know much about it, I think it's very easy to spend money and not get a decent return. So no, that I think it's something that we need to look at going forward to increase. So I feel, as I say, that CancerPal has, you know, proved concept. We are yeah, you know, we're a profitable organization, and we're now in sort of the scaling mode, and that's where I think now we do need to start spending some money on advertising and shouting about CancerPal.
Yes, yeah, because I mean the service itself is an amazing service. I mean, fortunately, well, my sister has had breast cancer, but she's a long way away. I wasn't the one, you know, apart from having to go and babysit the kids for a couple of days while she was in hospital. You know, I wasn't there every day having to watch her go through this. But yeah, it's such a valuable service that people can feel that they have the support and find the information that they need. It is amazing. Where do you see yourself in kind of, or in, you know, in your lovely vision, your ideal world in sort of 5 or 10 years time? What do you see CancerPal becoming?
So our vision is to support everyone who goes through cancer. And support the family and friends so that they can provide that best possible support to every person that's diagnosed with cancer in the UK. My business plan was always around the UK. What I've noticed, because we are an online platform, is that people from around the world visit CancerPal. So, I mean, I guess why stop at the UK? But, you know, it's small steps. So, yeah, definitely the UK. And in the sort of the shorter term, our vision is to, so at the moment we offer care boxes for chemotherapy treatment, radiotherapy treatment, and if someone's been just diagnosed. This week, we're about to launch our surgery care box. And there are just so many side effects to cancer treatment. So, you know, our vision is just to continue adding new products that have been recommended so that we cover all of the side effects. At the moment, we just kind of cover the main side effects, if you like. But yeah, our vision is to cover all of the side effects and just be this valuable information resource for anyone that's going through cancer.
Yeah, because I guess as well, if you might have a friend of somebody who doesn't have the experience, they want to send them something, a gift or whatever, to show that they're supporting them or whatever. But yeah, we don't know enough about it to know, well, what do I send? What are they going to need? And to have those somewhere where you can go and see a gift package that you know contains stuff that is going to be useful to them and safe for them as well, I'm guessing, as well, is as big a thing as any. Is it that you have to make sure that the products that you're sourcing are suitable for, because I understand, you know, you have the skin becomes more sensitive and that kind of thing. Is that am I right in understanding it that way as well?
That's a massive part of our research. Absolutely. And, you know, even people who are going through the treatment, in fact, there's a lot of, it's not even misinformation, but a lot of you know, nurses will say one thing and then other nurses will say another thing. So yeah, absolutely, making sure that the products are safe is a real key part of our research and one of the reasons it takes so long. But on that note, just wanted to share something with you. I've just got this vision. I need to maybe share it on the website somehow, of an Instagram account that I follow, and it was a husband, and he was documenting his wife's cancer diagnosis and treatment, and he just took this photo, and it was of his kitchen, and it was just full of flowers, because everyone, you know, wanted to reach out, wanted to offer support, and did that through, you know, a bunch of flowers. And, you know, he didn't want to be ungrateful. He really, you know, appreciated the thought, but there is only so many bunches of flowers. So yeah, that's what CancerPal is all about, isn't it? Giving a thoughtful and practical gift.
Yes, yeah. So if you were starting again, I know you're very early on in your journey, or it's what, a year and a quarter-ish, isn't it? Is there anything you'd do differently if you were starting again now, do you think?
Yeah, I think well, loads of things. where do I start? I think that one of the things when I first started, so yeah, we launched in November, but obviously we also took, and this is one of the things I think that people don't necessarily see, we took sort of 12 months to, you know, plan and create and build CancerPal. And I think, you know, I always reading stories of successful entrepreneurs, and, you know, you read it in sort of an hour or a couple of hours, don't you? And you think, wow, it didn't take them very long. And of course, that's their 10 years, isn't it? Condensed into a couple of hours. Yeah. So so when I first started CancerPal, I was really frustrated because I wasn't making any mistakes. Well, I say I wasn't making any mistakes. I wasn't out there in the marketplace kind of testing. And so I wasn't aware of these mistakes that I was making. So when we first launched and, you know, these mistakes became apparent to me, I was like, yeah, you know, this is great. It's a real milestone, isn't it? Because I've got to the stage where I'm busy enough that I'm making mistakes. You know, I'm testing the platform, I'm testing the concept, I'm getting this market feedback. And so, yeah, I'm always really excited when I make mistakes, because I think that, you know, as long as you learn from them, it's around driving your business forward, and every mistake takes you one step closer to success, if you like. But yeah, so to kind of pick one thing that I would do differently would probably be, we talked about this at the very beginning, didn't we, in terms of networking and the value of being part of a community. When I first started CancerPal, I'm a sole founder, and so I just got my head down and, you know, did. And yeah, I went out to the market in terms of hospitals and cancer, you know, cancer patients and treatment centres, and did market feedback in that way. But I didn't sort of have a support network of like-minded business owners around me. And it was probably only 6 months in that I'm a member of kind of Welsh Ice, the co-working community, and that has been invaluable. So that would have joined that a lot earlier and got that kind of help and support on board a lot earlier.
Yeah, I don't think you can underestimate how valuable it is to just have, even if it's only people to just have a moan to at the end of the day when you've had a really shit day, and just go, oh, I don't know what I'm doing, and just to have somebody say, oh, should we go and have a coffee and let's have a chat about it. It's invaluable, that and of course now it makes it harder, but fortunately there are lots of online communities that you can join at the moment, which kind of offer that support as well, don't they? So that's really good. It's been lovely talking to you. It's been absolutely fascinating as well, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what you can build CancerPal into, because it's such a valuable resource for so many people, that I'm looking forward to seeing it, you spread the word, and so that more people can come and get that help and support that they need. Yeah, and I wish you every success with it, and keep us posted as to how it goes.
Thank you so much, Sarah. Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us.